I thought doing a mate at the same time. I thought
Mm.
doing those at the same time uh, wasn't a workable deal. I think that was what I had heard.
Well, it's just simple. I just won't take a stronghold this week. No big deal.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's a pretty good fast. I doing live great on my fast until I babysat today, and
Right.
I'm licking the uh, cream 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 cheese butter stick, if you will. Well, doing the breakfast for the kids. So, all right. Well, we're getting started here, and I've got I'm your host. This is Testosterone Tuesday. We're here every week on a Tuesday. That's why it's called Testosterone Tuesday. And we have James and John with us to start. We may have some others join us, but we're going to talk really quickly because we got about 55 minutes. We're going to cover a lot of topics quickly. And the first question we're going to talk about is number one is about the energy drain, guys. We're going to talk about the energy drain. And I'm going to point that to first to you, John. I'm going to let you start that, and then James, you can chime in on that. But the energy drain, persistent fatigue, mid-afternoon crashes, needing a nap just to make dinner. I mean, John, let's talk a little bit about energy drain.
There, before this protocol, when I was doing what I thought was healthy and what was right, when I was with my coworkers, when I was doing the prisoner transports, if I wasn't driving, I was in the passenger seat asleep. No matter how hard I tried to stay awake, I mean, I crashed. I mean, I was always asleep unless I was physically driving. Um, and it didn't matter whether it was, 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, or 6 o'clock at night or 7 o'clock at night. I mean, as soon as I hit that seat, I was out. And I always thought it was chalked up to, you know, hereditary or genetics because, I was, sleep apnea or narcolepsy or some crap like that. And come to find out that it was all hormones. Because we start doing this protocol and start balancing your hormones out, and all of a sudden that went away. I don't have a problem with energy. I don't have a problem staying awake. I mean, like today, I spent the first 8 hours of the day at my part-time job running around doing whatever I have to for truck drivers and all this kind of other stuff. And I'm 40 something hours into a fast. And people are like, "How are you keeping up?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's because I'm fasting. I'm drinking my teas and I'm fasting. It's because your body is pulling what nutrients it needs from your stored energy or fat, like people like to call it, and it makes your needs. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it besides the ketones just really make you fly, you know. So you would ask me about a year and a half ago, I would have been telling like, yeah, whatever. I'm gonna stick with what the doctors are telling me because that seems to be working. Boy, was I wrong.
There you go.
So
James, what's your take on the energy drain?
I have my story's much the same. Back whenever I was, working full time, you know, I was in the office a lot, and you know, go have lunch and come back, sit down. Terrible time concentrating. Terrible time, about 1:30, 2 o'clock. I could not keep my eyes open. So what would I do? I'd grab a sugary drink or coffee with some sugar in it, or and down that, thinking that was going to pick me up, and it was just crash after crash after crash. And I had no clue back then. I just thought you eat, you get sleepy, and but I've relieved all that now. I mean, I go all day long. I go to bed, I sleep good, I'm up early, and
yep.
it's not a problem. I never want to. One, I don't sit down too much now, and two, I don't ever feel sleepy. I have energy, so it's
Yeah,
it's it's good. It's amazing.
I think where my pre before was different is I was constantly, constantly with some caffeine. I don't think I was ever had a lull. I mean,
Right.
I don't think there was a chance for my body to say, "Hey, we're getting low." There was never that, because if you know, when my fasting blood glucose, it was 834. I had things going. Now, for luckily for me though, John, is that when it was time for bed, I just crashed. I mean, I went to sleep.
Right.
I mean, I could just go hit from like, I didn't have I just went to sleep. The caffeine didn't bother me anymore. I don't know. It's just dumb and numb to it. But yeah, it was that in a bag. And so since you've been on the protocol, James, let's start with you. How's your energy now? How's your energy now?
Amazing. I got up at 7:30 this morning, went out on the lake, and I just got back home just a little while ago. I've been at it all day, and I feel fine. I feel great. I still have plenty of energy. And before the protocol, I could go out on the lake and fish for a few hours, and then I'd have to take the next day off to rest up and recoup from it. So drastic difference in my energy level and my abilities now.
Perfect. Great. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's just, I have this secret call. I sleep fast. You know, I compress my sleep into short periods of time, and then I'm ready to go. And there's no coffee anymore. I mean, I like the smell. I've liked it since I was a pup. My grandmother would have a little green cup. Basically, it was milk with a splash of coffee, but I was sitting with all the big boys. You know, I'm drinking my new coffee. But, you know, you got that whole planned rush in there. But
Yeah,
now
don't forget to put your pinky up while you do that.
Yes, my
Sorry, George, I had to.
Oh, but that's okay. You know, I love it. Okay, so let's talk about the next thing. James, we'll start with you on this one. And this will be talking about the middle age spread. I mean, you know, the gut, that stubborn abdominal fat that shows up despite eating the same way you always have. I mean, all of a sudden you kept eating. I mean, I don't know, but you just kept eating the same way, and it's your belt personality began to grow. Did you experience that?
Oh, of course. Yeah. Whenever I was, you know, I hit 40 or, you know, in my 40s, I don't know. I mean, you know, you hear your metabolism slows, so you know, it's harder to keep the weight off. I bought into that, you know, and I had the gut, I had the love handles, you know, and something else about that I've learned, you know, that body style really increases your chance for cardiovascular issues too. Those guys that really carry that weight in their midsection.
Tell me about that. Tell us about that body weight and the correlation to cardiovascular.
Well, I mean, if you're one of these people that carry that weight in your gut and your love handles, then, you know, it's not the only thing that fat's affecting and depositing on. So, you know, your internal organs are taking a toll too when it comes to the way you're carrying that fat. And that doesn't exclude your heart, you know. And, you know, look at me. I ended up having a heart attack at 50. No prior problems, you know, and you know, it was lifestyle. It was lifestyle and stress from work. It was, you know, finally caught up with me.
And isn't it? James, your heart issue was a widowmaker. Just tell us. We hear that term there, a widowmaker. Well, if someone dies, that's a widowmaker. I mean, if you fall off a roof, it's a widowmaker. I mean, what's a widowmaker or heart attack?
It's just the particular, you know, it was the worst blockage you could get as far as the artery that was blocked. It's the one that not many people get to talk about after it happens, you know. It's usually death. And I was within the doctor said I was about 45 minutes from leaving here. So you know, it's just one of them type deals that not too many people survive that particular blockage.
Now, is that a blockage of the artery that actually feeds blood to the heart?
You know, I'm not clear on that myself. You know, Andrea, he explained all that to her. I just know that it's the main artery leading. I don't know if it's into or out of the heart, but he showed me a image of it before and after. And before, it looked like a spaghetti noodle, after it looked like a drinking straw. So that's how clogged and shrunk up that it was 90+% blocked.
Okay, and now continue on. That's when you found the Feel Great system. Now what's happened? How is your cardiovascular output improved?
Yeah, I mean, along with energy comes the ability to do more exercise or wanting to do more exercise and be more active. So, it all plays in hand. You start feeling better, you lose the inflammation, you drop in the weight, you get more active. So, it all goes hand in hand.
Sure.
I'm not saying that I go, run 5 miles every day, but I'm more active now. I'm always doing something and walking, and we walk a lot, and I feel like it. I feel like even doing more now because
Okay.
I have energy and I don't have the pain or the weight. I'm down almost 30 pounds now, so I feel
Then
like
how's that
being way
affected
more
your
active.
spread? What's your gut spread look like? Is it still out there? Are you still Mr. Oompa Belly, or what do you look like?
No, like I say, I'm pushing close to 30 pounds now, and I've lost over 3 inches in my waist.
3 inches in
Yeah,
your waist.
yeah, I'm almost down to wearing the waist size that I did when I was in high school.
Really
Yeah,
full on.
yeah.
That's awesome. So
Oh yeah.
soon you'll be able to get into those 80s shorts or whatever those little tiger flag shirts or whatever.
Yeah, I'll be wearing the flowered Hawaiian shirt and the shorts you're talking about. Yeah, I'm gonna
There
I'm
you
gonna
go.
bring that back.
There you go. John, what about the middle age spread? How about you, buddy?
The middle. Apologize now for the background. My grandson's over here eating sweet potatoes, so sometimes
There
he's
you
great,
go.
sometimes he's not. But anyways, the middle age for me was like James just said. I didn't realize my waist is getting bigger, my stomach getting bigger, and unfortunately for me, yeah, I was getting cardiac disease too, but I never got diagnosed with it, or I never had at least a heart attack like James. I mean, I'm very thankful that he's still here because that Widowmaker, if anybody don't know what it is, that's 100% blockage in your left artery, the biggest artery of your heart. That is a Widowmaker. It's 100% blockage. So that's the reason why it's called a Widowmaker, because you don't come back from those. So he's one of the very few that's been able to make it through that and talk about it. So very thankful that happened. But for me, waistline's getting bigger. I'm starting to get man boobs, all that kind of stuff. Because I'm not putting two and two together about how I'm constantly snacking, constantly eating, because I'm trying to keep so many calories up, or I'm trying to keep so many 6, 7 small meals a day to be healthy, like I was always taught. And I never realized what it was doing to my metabolism and what it's doing to my metabolic health. And yeah, my gut was getting bigger, my pants were getting bigger, but I was fixated on what the scale said, and the scale never budged. I was always between 320 and 330 pounds my whole adult life,
Really?
even though I didn't put two together. My waist is getting bigger. Hey, I got to get bigger shirts. I got to get bigger pants. But I still weigh the same. So, for me, I never realized doing this protocol, finally learning about metabolic health and getting everything situated to where you can actually think for yourself again. I realized then how misguided I was, how misinformed I was about everything. I was always eating like what they told you, eat healthy, eat, brown rice, whole wheat toast, whole wheat bread. Granted, sweet potatoes are actually very healthy for you, but I don't like sweet potatoes. So, and unfortunately my grandson over there is eating sweet potatoes, and you can hear how he enjoys it. So, but the thing is one thing I did realize about with this protocol, if it's something you enjoy eating, odds are it's not the best food choice for you. If your taste buds love it, odds are it's very highly palatable to make you like it. Because if you eat something that is naturally good for your body, it's an acquired taste. You're either going to love it or you're going to hate it, or you're going to learn to like it. It's not something you just put in your mouth like a Dorito and you're like, oh, I love this, or a sweetheart, or Mike and Ike, or pastries, or so that's what people don't. I don't think a lot of people realize that is how the modern food environment has been so manipulated to change our taste buds. I mean,
Sure.
that's the easiest way to put it.
Yeah.
I mean, I never realized, and I ate tons of food over the 25 years that I was dealing with metabolic dysfunction and all that. So,
Sure.
yeah.
Okay.
But like you were saying though, I never realized the waistline's getting bigger. I just put it up to diabetes. I put it up to I'm just trying to manage my disease, and my doctor's always telling me, well, if you lose weight, you'll manage diabetes better. Okay, so I start doing this and trying to work more, trying to do this, and I'm not losing the weight. So maybe that's the reason why I'm putting more weight on, because I'm not losing it. When I come to find out, the reason I'm putting more weight on is because I'm feeding the disease and not fighting it.
So in wrapping this section up, guys, and in talking about middle-age spread and wrapping this up, how big was the wrapper? How big of a wrapper did you once have, and how small is it now? And have you done anything special in your diet or exercise other than just the very simple protocol?
Dude, I don't think this camera can go wide enough for the biggest shirt I had to have. I mean, some brands I was in 3X, 4X shirts, and then some pants were 44, 46. And that was probably when I was my biggest at 450 pounds when I first got married to my wife, when right before I got diagnosed with diabetes.
Catherine, you were with him at 450 pounds?
Yes.
Yeah.
There was a lot of him to love.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, but if you ever stalk my Facebook profile, you'll find our wedding photos. In the wedding photos, at the wedding itself, I'm 450 pounds in that photo.
My goodness.
That was roughly 6-7 months before I got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes.
And what was your waistline at that time?
Probably a 42, 44, 46, around there somewhere.
And now you're down to what?
Now I can wear 34s without a belt just fine.
10 plus inches. Nice. James, what about you?
At my heaviest, I was just a touch over 200 pounds. And now I'm down to 165. I fluctuate a little bit. Everybody does, but 165.
Well, what's your waist and what's your belt size? Have you
I went from a 34 down to a 30.
Nice. Yeah, for me, I was up there with John, not on the gravity challenge, but I was up into the 42s, and I'm down to a 28. So I've lost 14 inches off that waist. So
wow,
I get that. Cool. All right, let's talk about one of the. Oh, I forgot where did I put that? Darn. Oh yeah, let's talk about brain fog. What? So let's start Beans. I started it. I will say it's now pass this on and let James come back to us on brain fog.
Where do I start? I was affected very badly by brain fog. I didn't realize how bad until I got on the protocol and it got better. I would walk into a room and couldn't remember exactly why. I'd have to stop and think about, why am I in here? What did I come in here for? I had a hard time, even reading and processing stuff. And then once I got on the protocol, it was night and day difference. It was one of the first significant things that I noticed happening to me once I got on the protocol, and I hadn't been on it probably 3 weeks, not even a month. And I get up in the mornings, not every morning, but most mornings, and I go read the Bible for a little while. It's the first thing I do. And I sit down and I started reading, and I thought, man, it's like these words are jumping out at me. It's like I'm remembering everything I'm reading. And it just came out of nowhere. All of a sudden I realized this, and I'm like, wow, I really feel like I'm able to read and comprehend much better. So, I told my wife, I said, it seems like my mental clarity has gotten much better. And now being in around all these wonderful people, it's a common thing that happens once you start the protocol, and everybody talks about it, but discovering it on my own from just out of a sudden, it was it's like somebody flipped a light switch. It really was.
Cool. John, how about you, buddy?
Yeah, mine's similar to like what James was saying. I never realized how bad the brain fog was until I started doing the protocol. Before doing this, I was one of those type of guys, hey, run to the store real quick and get this. Yeah, sure. Wait, I get to the store and I forget what I'm getting. So I called the wife and I'm like, hey, what was I supposed to get? And she goes, seriously, you forgot? I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm calling you. But the thing is doing this protocol and getting the mental clarity come back and get rid of that brain fog. I noticed one time I ran to the store to get something and I get back and my wife's like, hey, you never called me. I'm like, was I supposed to? She goes, you always call me because you forget. I'm like, well, I didn't forget this time, obviously. And it's improving. I mean, that's not just happening here and there. It started here and there, and then it turns into where it's like almost every day. And then you really sit down and think about it. You walk into the other room and you forget why you walked in there. That is a good sign of right there of insulin resistance, that this protocol battles, and people don't put two and two together. That's an actual major sign that you're insulin resistant. And they just chalk it up to, oh, I'm getting old or I'm getting memory loss. When in all reality, it's actually the first stages of dementia and Alzheimer's. And
Right.
people don't put two and two together because they think it's like like a genetic disease or something you get by being old. When all reality, it's just you're lacking the nutrition to your brain.
Yep.
Your brain requires fat, your brain requires cholesterol. And so if you start lacking those because of what the doctors want you to do to lower your cholesterol, then you wonder why you're starting to have memory problems. Then you start wondering why you forget things, why all of a sudden dementia, all of a sudden Alzheimer's. And, it's sad to say that we talk to people were on the verge of Alzheimer's, never diagnosed, but they should have been. And they've been doing the protocol, and then it improves to the point that they're no longer considered Alzheimer's. I mean, that right there should be your biggest clue.
Yeah, I agree on that, because in my story, like, I've been blessed with a lot of different things. One of them, I've been on, beat out hundreds of thousands of people to be on television game shows. And one was The Weakest Link. So I was on the very first Weakest Link to get to that. Fast forward to a little over a year ago, I had to drive back to my house 5 times in rapid succession. I backed up, went to the stop sign, which was 1 house away from my house, and I realized I forgot my phone. Had to drive a half a block around, turn around, drove in, unlocked the door, went to the butcher block, grabbed my phone, reversed that whole process, got to the stop sign. That was like a trigger. Oh, I forgot my briefcase. Do the return, come back. On the same butcher block was my briefcase.
Right.
Repeated, went down the stop sign. Oh, I forgot my drink. Guess what the drink was? On the butcher block.
So like a muscle memory?
5 times. I had great muscle memory of that route, but no memory of the clarity of knowing I should take everything because it's right there.
Right.
And so there was one instance. And then I was also where I would start talking to you, say John, and then I'd want to say his name, and I would just be silent.
I remember your face, but what's your name?
And I'd go, and I would maybe have to. I would either tricks I would do for myself. I'd either go, okay, I know there's a J in it, and it starts with, but, oh, there's James. I'll talk to James, but then maybe I come back to John. Okay. And or things I should remember, things I should know. And I was concerned because my mom has that. And this was long before I understood we understand now, that dementias in all types, whether it's Alzheimer's, whether it's Lewy bodies, whether it's frontal, and the others, are preventable. They are, if you don't like to use reversible, they are improvable.
Yes. Well,
you can do to do better, and because I'm fine mentally now.
Yeah. Well, that's like I can't remember who it was, but they have an autistic child taking the protocol, and it's actually improved their mental clarity and their behavior.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like totally gone, but it's improved it.
Improved
to where they can handle and manage themselves better than they were before. So,
yes.
Knowing what I know now, looking back, throughout my life, and now realizing the signs, that are obvious to us. My grandmother used to, if she was going to call on one of the kids or the grandkids, and she had many, she would run through every name. And I'm sure you've heard this before she finally settled on the right one for the person she was trying to address. And that was common. But she also drank Pepsi like there was never going to make another one. So, I look at it now and it makes perfect sense to me.
Exactly. And so, that's one of the reasons that we do every week. We do a live show on Alzheimer's. We talk about an identical twin. And so if people want to talk about it, it's genetic. Okay, really? Then why not double? There is. So we talk about the hormones. We talk about brain fog and this topic a lot. And Sam is always on our show, and Sam's story is incredible. Man, he literally was on his knees in a desert praying.
Wow.
Because he couldn't do what he had been doing for 30 years. He didn't know how to, in his work. And those prayers literally answered. So every Sunday we do that. And Jennifer is on as well as a caregiver, and I'm a caregiver. And so we talk about caregiving, we talk about symptoms and signs that brain fog and Alzheimer's and Lewy body disease and frontotemporal. And we talk about this whole idea of brain fog. We talk about caregiving. We talk about hope, struggles, and success. The same thing here. And testosterone, guys, testosterone is a hormone that is a precursor to type 2 diabetes. And when we go to type 2 diabetes, the number after 2 is 3. And that is dealing with energy starvation of the brain. And we start talking about the nutritional habits, then the cholesterol and the different types of lipids and ketones, and all of those types of things. And people tend to want to put one blame on one topic and one thing. It is this. You do that, as if everything was in isolation, as if everything was on its own. And it's
not their bad habits. It's your family traits. It's your genes.
People want to blame it on, it runs in the family. You know what runs in the family? Horrible eating habits.
Yes.
That's how mom ate. That's how dad ate. That's how I eat. That's how our kids are eating. That's what runs in the family a lot of times. It's breaking that cycle.
Yep. Absolutely. And it's really tied to that. And testosterone is a hormone. Everybody has it, male or female, it doesn't matter. It's an important hormone. The thing that we're finding is that with all of the modern day food environment, where the drain comes in, that's part of testosterone. When we start looking at that middle-aged spread, testosterone with cortisol, with insulin resistance and anabolic resistance, right? And then the T2-3 and the thyroid. I mean, all of the hormones bump into each other. The growth hormone bumps into each other. The satisfaction and then the hunger. Those hormones are all run into the same thing. And testosterone, I kind of want to say, is the king hormone. Now, may say the metabolic guys will say insulin and stress, and psychiatrists will go, the cortisol, and everybody's got their own hormone. But for today, and guys, women have testosterone too. So it's not just a male thing.
Well,
but it's a thing that when it goes down, we have a lot of issues, don't we?
Yeah, well, you got to think too, though, is like you're saying, testosterone for us guys, that's like our number one sex hormone. And then females, you got your testosterone, progesterone, and estrogen. All three of those make up their sex hormones. But what's the major building block for sex hormones? Cholesterol.
Cholesterol. Yes.
And people don't realize that. So when they start following the advice to keep the cholesterol low, then they wonder why they start having problems, because you don't have the building block to replenish what you need. And I can't say I fell for it. I did for 25 years, and I wonder why my testosterone. Because back when I was in powerlifting and all that in high school, my testosterone was 950, if not a little bit higher. And the only reason I know that is because back in the day when I was breaking records in powerlifting, they couldn't believe I was as strong as I was, and they thought I was juicing. So I kept getting blood tested all the time. And these tests keep coming back negative, negative, negative. And the whole powerlifting season was that way. And that was my senior year in high school in 97. And then that's the only reason why I knew my testosterone was as high as it was. And then when I started having major problems here, just, what was it, like 9 years ago, roughly, they test my testosterone. I was down in the 150s to 175-ish in range, And then when I started taking TRT shots and got me up to, let's say, 400, I wanted to go higher because I knew how much higher I used to be. But my doctor's like, no, we can't go higher because I want you in the 400, low fives or 400 range right there. And I'm like, but I don't feel great. I feel like crap. But that's when I end up getting a blood clot in my arm. But granted, I had a PICC line there too, but that's not related. But you know what I mean? So, everybody has, like you said, everybody has their opinions. Everybody has this. Yeah. And unfortunately, we're not on here to badmouth doctors or, medical personnel, because, a lot of them do care. It's just they read the wrong information.
Yeah.
So like you can be the smartest person, you can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you read the wrong information, you read the wrong information. It's just that simple.
So now we're at the halfway mark of the show, and let's talk about, does your body look like a fortress or a fixer-upper? I mean, we used to build cathedrals. Now we're building dad bods, and we call it lifestyle choices. Stronghold isn't about ego. It's about structural integrity. If the foundation's soft, the roof's going to leak. So thanks for being here on Testosterone Tuesday. And let's look at Stronghold. Let's talk about this this muscle vanishing act, this what's called scientifically called sarcopenia. Let's talk about if you're working out just as hard as you were and you're seeing less muscles or sagging muscles and the loss of presence, we're dealing with testosterone. So guys, let's have a conversation a little bit about muscles and all of that with yourselves. What have you guys noticed before, after, during?
Well, if you go before, back when I was doing all that, lifting, powerlifting, wrestling, I had 22-inch arms. I had a 22-inch neck. I was a big guy, but I didn't realize the way I was training, the way I was eating led into the disease, led into sarcopenia eventually. I mean, it didn't start right off the bat. I mean, yeah, over the years I lost that muscle, and everybody's like, oh, it's because you quit working out. Well, yeah, I quit working out because I got tired of busting my butt in the gym and nothing improving.
Right.
And I'm like, if this ain't working, then screw it. I'm going to enjoy life. I'm going to eat this, this, and this. And then that's when things really took off. Yes. But it was still making it worse, even though when I was eating somewhat cleaner and working out, it still got worse. It never got better. But after I gave up and I just started taking all the medications, just gave up and became a couch potato, you name it. Yeah, I suffered from sarcopenia hardcore, and I never put two and two together, because that's when the waistline's getting bigger, the belly's getting bigger, neck's getting fatter.
Yeah.
And I never put two and two together. I mean, granted, because your body's going to pull the energy it needs, whether it's from fat, whether it's from muscle. So if you're in the gym constantly lifting weights and you're lifting heavy and you're not improving, there's a good reason why. And it's not because you lack discipline or lack willpower. It's because you're insulin resistant and you're probably burning the muscle for fuel instead of burning fat.
Yes, exactly correct. Exactly correct. James, what's your experience about vanishing muscles, the shrink, sarcopenia? Any of that?
Well, I was pretty good up until the heart attack. After the heart attack, I don't know. I don't have a medical explanation for it, but it seemed like once I had the heart attack, it kind of opened the door for other things to start going wrong and falling apart. And, of course, I had worked out extensively throughout my younger years and trained in jiu-jitsu and mixed martial arts. And so, along with, other than the heart thing, I have some disc issues and a pinched nerve, and I had torn a rotator cuff. And so I had to kind of take it easy for a while. And I was in a lot of pain, I had a lot of inflammation and all that stuff. And so now that I'm doing pretty good and I'm on the protocol, I'm most definitely not looking to build up muscle, but I do want to sustain, and if anything, try to sustain the muscle that I have and maybe tone and building muscle is building muscle, in my opinion, is a young man's sport. I don't have the joints or the cartilage left to withstand the workout, the weightlifting that I used to do. So I just want to maintain, try not to lose anymore. If I could add a little bit, low impact, that
Perfect.
type of thing.
Perfect. Great. So and I kind of agree that my on muscle vanishing, I actually did. I mean, I went down to 143 pounds, and I had body fat that was in the 20s, upper 20%, 28% with a, and so now I've turned that around. And I'm up to about 30% lean muscle mass. I'm increasing my lean muscle mass. And guys, my exercise is cooking, chopping carrots and cabbage and cooking shrimp and scallops and that kind of thing. There's, maybe golf now this summer will be okay. And if I ever get a chance to be on the
You can't go golfing, sir, because you'll get a phone call from the lab saying you're having problems.
Yeah.
You got to come to New York.
Yeah, that's true. They could be calling me on the golf course. Hey, you need to come back in. But yeah, so exercise it's grandkids. The exercise is that, but we need the secret here, guys. It's about testosterone, and our topic is muscle is important. And sitting on doing nothing is horrible unless you want to die. You want to die fast, sit on your can and bonbon. You want to have a healthier life. You want to have enjoyment. John's got grandkids. James's grandkids. I've got great grandkids. I get to play, and I want to be as energetic with them until I have 5 generations. And you can't do that unless you have muscle. And you can't use that growth unless you have a good diet. Hey, Ross, I love you, buddy. We miss you. And so we need to keep that muscle going because that's where the energy goes. That's where the energy goes. Love grows where my energy goes, right? And so
You gotta stay active. That's the most important thing. You got to be active.
Yeah, got to keep it rolling going. So in our last couple minutes here, the last topic we have is the pilot light, guys. Pilot light code, pilot light, and that is the drive, the changes of libido, performance. Do you have any of that? Did that affect your relationships at all? I mean, and where are we at now?
It definitely made a difference for me. Yes. I mean, it increased my sex drive noticeably. It did. That's another thing I didn't realize, I guess, how much of it I'd lost until I started gaining it back again. I was like, well, what's going on here?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just a fact of the matter, right? I mean, just like everything, things go away slow, but it's fun when they come back. It's like, oh, hey, I'm like a teenager at 49. You got it, Ross. Oh my God, we love you, Ross. That's true.
Like you were saying, I was in my mid 30s, dealing with type 2 diabetes and all that when I first started having libido problems, or ED, whatever you want to call it. But the thing is, it's not something that just happens that quick. It gradually declines. And then, from the mid 30s until doing this protocol, I did it all. I did the pumps, I did the pills, I did the shots, I did whatever you could to improve that part of my life, to keep the intimacy with me and my wife. Because a lot of us guys in our head think that in order to be intimate, we got to do this, we got to do this, and not reality is we're not connecting emotionally with them. When we just connect them emotionally and just give them what they want emotionally, 9 times out of 10, you're good. Either way, it doesn't matter. But the thing is, like you guys were saying, with this protocol, I never realized that was my issue. Because once I started doing the protocol, I woke up one morning and I had a 10 going. I'm like, hey, that's the first time in 10 years, cool, great. And then it starts happening more often and more often.
Right.
And then it's like you're saying, you're back in your teens where you wake up and what happened? I'm 47 now and I'm back like I'm 18. So,
Yep.
And it's not just luck of the draw. It's because we're getting our hormones back where they need to be, because, we're getting our health back, because we're lowering our insulin, getting our cholesterol back up where it needs to be, so that your body can start producing the sex hormones it needs to operate optimally and efficiently.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what it is. We're balancing everything out.
And if you think about it, guys, if you think about it from a marketing standpoint, I mean, just sit back and look at a half second. Our parents never talked about it and were fine because they were doing great. I mean, they were taking their Sunday afternoons or whatever, and we never wanted it because they're like, no, get a room, go away, right? But think about it now. On advertising, they're advertising those types of, I got a pill for you.
Yeah, you got Viagra, Cialis, Roe, you got how many others?
Exactly. I mean, think about that. It used to be almost a discretion embarrassment to buy a prophylactic, buy rubbers, okay, Trojans or whatever, right? That was embarrassing. I can't even imagine being 20 or 30 and getting some kind of pill, shot, or injection. I can't fathom that. And so there's a pill for that, but is there? And it doesn't fix it. It doesn't do anything but adjust potentially vein flow, but it doesn't deal with the deal. It doesn't deal with the issue. And so, guys, hey, Jennifer, we love you too. The reality is, in dealing with testosterone as a hormone, we need to look at the roots of that. Getting a shot isn't the answer. And eventually, those run into all kinds of issues, don't they? And so you can't do that on a prolonged thing. So what we've learned is that in today's discussion, that over time, yes, testosterone will come down and can. But the issue is that today it's coming down faster and hitting younger. And we can see that simply in marketing.
Well, think of it this way, George. Our whole life, what are we told about men and testosterone? The older you get, the lower it declines, correct? You're how old? You're
74.
Yeah, 74 now. My apologies. And you're probably better off now than most of the kids are at 17, 18 today.
Yeah.
So
I would say
make that connection.
There's no pills in this house.
Right. So, that's the thing is like, I've been told for years, testosterone decreases because your age goes up. That's just a natural thing. That's just what happens.
That's what I was always told.
It may not. But the thing is you're proving it wrong right now. I'm sorry to say, but you are. You're proving that ideology wrong.
Yep.
Because you're 74 years old and you're not taking any supplement besides these.
Yeah.
And
Well, you got some sticks, John. You got any sticks there? You got any sticks?
I got my balance. I got my lemon. I got. Let's see. I got a berry. I got a chocolate. I mean, what do you want?
All right, John. We're gonna do as we close this episode out, guys. John, I'm gonna have you do a 1 to 2 minute ad on the sticks. James, you're gonna do a 1 to 2 minute ad on the sticks, and we'll be closing it out. John, you go first.
Okay, so if you're new to this, we're talking about a protocol that we've all come across that has literally changed our lives for the metabolic reasons, for health-wise, financially, spiritually, you name it. In all reality, it's just 3 sticks. That's all it is. Two teas and a fiber a day. That's all it is. And I mean, I can't express how important this stuff is. I mean, people are talking about how crypto's great or how gold's great. I'm sorry, but this is more valuable than all that is. This balance by itself is the most valuable thing probably in my house right now. And I live in a $350,000 house. I mean, that's not great, but it's not terrible either. But the thing is it don't compare to the value of what this is in my hand. And this only cost me $1.59 a day to improve my health. And it's done this job for the last year. If it wasn't for these 2 sticks and the fiber that I take a day, I'd be dead by now. But it's really is something that simple. It's just 2 teas a day. It's just a fiber balance. We drink before we eat. And then when you do eat, you just follow the protocol, fiber first, fats, proteins. And then if you want carbs, have carbs at the end. And it doesn't really matter what type of carb, because, you got your complex, you got your simple carbs, you got your processed carbs or heavily refined carbs. It's best to stick with your whole food ones, but, I don't. I still eat the same crap. I just don't eat as often. So
There you go.
That's it in a nutshell.
James, give us your ad.
I just want to start out with, our food is not what it needs to be now. It's if you want to try to eat healthy, it's just about impossible. From a gathering standpoint and a financial standpoint. With that being said, you eat what you have to. But these 3 packs of powder that John's talking about, it kind of rights the wrongs. It balances your body from a metabolic standpoint. It resists, fix the insulin resistance. It's simple. It's simple as drinking water. It's easy to do. You can do it at home. You can do it on the road. You can do it anywhere. It goes with you. I mean, if you can get a bottle of water and a pack of this, you're set. You sip that powder, you stop craving all that crap. It's to help sustain, and you can add some fasting in with that. Take your fiber before you eat to help negate some of that stuff from getting in your blood so quick. It's simple and it's guaranteed. It's guaranteed or your money back. I mean, try to find, a pharmaceutical drug that has a guarantee like that. And you heard what we were saying. All of us are experiencing the same improvements in so many, and we just barely touched the surface here with what we're talking about. It's an amazing product that it just works so fantastic that I don't know why everybody isn't doing it.
Because if we take a deep dive into this and go full detail, we'll be here for 10, 12, 14 hours nonstop.
Easy.
And
so
we
have
a caring community too behind all of this too. That
right, very, very good support team. Yes,
bend over backwards to help you and to make sure you know what's going on.
And guys, it's really simple. It's simple. When you see this, if you would like to see the experiences, if you know James, reach out to James. James can help. He'll be your coach and help you guide you on your improvement path. Get with John. John has the same discount, wholesale discount. You can get it from us. You can get a hold of John And I'm telling you, the big thing is that it's simple. As long as you can drink fluid, you can do this, right? You drink this. If you want to continue to eat the way you are and feel the way you are, have a good day. But we know that you can feel better, be better, enjoy a simple protocol that's natural. You want to feel better? When do you want to feel better?
Wasn't Andrew the one that started the protocol but never changed his diet, still kept his diet the same way and had all those great improvements?
People do it backwards. People do this wrong. They get better. People don't do it the right way.
No, just be consistent. That's all we ask.
It works. Give us 90 days. Give us 90 days. And, give us 90 days. Prove us wrong. Prove us wrong. But don't prove us wrong by starting the protocol and leaving it in the box. That doesn't count. Follow the protocol, the methodology, nice and simple. And there you are. John, James, thank you for coming on tonight. We've got another call. It was great.
Brother.
I love learning.
Enjoyed it.
We learn things every day from each other. I love it. I do. And thanks for sharing the grandkids as well. Thanks for sharing fishing stories with everybody. Best your brides. And I'll yak at you later. Have a great week.
Okay.
See you, brother. We'll see you later.
Bye.